maybe a few just mention what they remember, or what they wrote, just very shortly, just some few words. What you remember from what we just discussed?
Yeah, Buddha is representing Krishna, and he is giving instruction according to Shastras, and he presents totally this truth given to the parampara, and he doesn't add anything or takes anything because everything is from Krishna. And he's not to be considered as an ordinary person. That's very important. And he is perfect. He can also be nearby and then still bring him back to Godhead if he's just following totally the right instructions of the Shastras, what he has learned from his spiritual master. And you get the mercy of Krishna through his devotees. So you cannot go straight to Krishna, but you get it from the spiritual master, and his devotees around you, and then the spiritual master gets it from, he gets the mercy of Nityananda, and then Nityananda from Caitanya Mahaprabhu, and then so it's everything is about going through someone. You never go directly to Krishna. And from that, the Guru is the perfect representative. And then also, Krishna mentioned that he's the same as Krishna in purpose of desire. It's not to be considered the same. Yeah.
Nice. Anyone want to ask?
It's as good as God.
As good as God.
It's just again and again, like one realizes the importance of keeping track and in touch with Srila Prabhupada always. That not that one needs to have doubt in one's Guru, but it just that connection with Srila Prabhupada through his books, that just one can just appreciate one's Guru much better and understand him much better. And then if there are some flaws, or even if the Guru would fall down, let us say, Krishna forbid, but then the disciple would not be bewildered, because you would just have Srila Prabhupada as your Siksha Guru and continue around.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, types of Guru. So now we'll discuss what is a Diksha Guru and what is a Siksha Guru. Diksha Guru, how many we can have? 6 Gurus, how many we can have? 24. 24? What?
As many as
required. As many as required. Diksha Guru gives instructions, initiates and officiates connection to parampara, to disciplic succession, gives a spiritual name, gives mantra Guru. So that's actually maybe a thing just by the way, that mantra is given. It's not because like even you can read the Gayatri mantra in the Bhagavatam, but it won't work. It has to be given, otherwise it doesn't work. There's a whole process there. Like we hear Arjuna in Kurukshetra, they had all these shastras, all these armors, all these weapons. And it was not enough just to know the mantra, they had to receive it, it had to be given to them by their Guru. It was given to them, then they could use call the mantras, and then the mantra would work. Otherwise it wouldn't work. So even, of course Prabhupada says everyone can chant Hare Krishna, but it becomes very powerful when we get it from the spiritual master. But the Gayatri mantra doesn't work at all. Unless we get it from the spiritual master in the right way, you can whisper it in the ear and like this, then it won't work. So it's just use the mantra. Accept disciples' vows. What are the 4 regulatory principles you will follow the rest of your life?
No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex life.
Good. And how many? Remove disciples' sinful reactions at initiation. So it takes away all the sinful reactions, as we mentioned before. But sometimes, as needed, he can give some of it back. Krishna can give some of it back. But actually, that's what happens. It takes the spiritual master takes away the sinful reactions. And that's why it's also said, if we misbehave as disciples, the spiritual master will suffer.
That's why some spiritual master get sick.
Can't he?
Yeah.
Prabhupada said often, at least they will see evil dreams, bad dreams. But they can even get sick. And Prabhupada even said it once in Vrindavan. He was extremely sick in Vrindavan. Prabhupada said, because my disciples are not following in Vrindavan. So in Vrindavan it's like 1,000 times multiplied. All you're doing, good or bad. So Prabhupada said it directly. I'm sick now because my disciples are not following. So it's a great responsibility.
But then many times you see devotees, sincere devotees suffering, not the spiritual masters, but devotees suffering. Then one starts wondering that they have still their karmas left over.
We never know why it can be. It can be simple reactions, but it can be something from previous life. I mean, but still Krishna gives it, as I mentioned before. He takes it away, but then he gives a little. Or it can be Krishna glorifying that person. Prabhupada went through so many troubles. When you read his biography in India, so many troubles, right? And when he came to America, they only multiplied. So Prabhupada went through so many problems, but that enhances our love for him. I think I mentioned before, if Prabhupada just entered a Boeing jet and just going to America and just going to a Sheraton Hotel and the people receiving him and everything was nice, we will still appreciate it. But now, as we knew what he went through, how much he suffered to give us Krishna consciousness, we love him. So Krishna might use his disciples like his devotees like that also. So we never know exactly what is Vishnu's Dev say that on his bed of arrows, he's lying there waiting, dying. He says, even great sages and demigods, so many people have tried to find out the cause for Krishna's activity, but no one can figure out. How will I know? So we never know really how Krishna is using whatever is the reason. And you see Bhakti Tirtha Swami, right? He was getting cancer. But what kind of realization he had in that cancer? Here he was crying not from pain, but from happiness. He said, it will never be any better than this. So that's a man lying, dying, in extreme pain, crying of happiness, saying it will never get any better than this. So and Prabhupada instinct. So we don't know really what is that.
It was just that Sankirtan, he said during this initiation that the spiritual master takes 98.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask him that.
Okay.
Yeah, I never heard that.
Oh, no.
Because Sankirtan, who related to Guru, is just here. He said that Krishna takes 98% of the karma.
Okay. 99.
I think he said 98. 99. Okay. Whatever. 99. So, I don't know.
But isn't it like that example that we still have the body, but the spiritual master plucks out the fan of the karma?
Yeah, that's
so that the body still has something from
we still have some, the karma is still there.
Yeah.
But 99%, 90%.
But then, no, but
Maybe
then
that's
is
what
that...
Huh?
Maybe that's what he means.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
prarabdha
by that
karma.
number, right? Because that's not 9, there'll be more than 1%. Anyway, it's not...
But the point is also that the last thing, if you follow the instructions of the spiritual master, then these things that comes to the body, like whatever sickness or whatever difficulties, these things are directly under Krishna's control, and they are not past karma in that sense.
No, it's as I said,
It's
Krishna
just
takes
that-
the karma and gives us a little, right? So in that
Yeah.
sense it is, but no, it's not.
Yeah.
For purification.
For purification. We need it to learn.
Sure.
Or to be an example. We don't know, again, we don't know exactly why Krishna is doing what he's doing, but most likely for us, for our case, we should see it. Like Brahma is praying, Tateya no kampam susameksamam, Vijana ivat makatam vitakam, Vivaka pupiya, Vapupiya vitram namaste, Tivekaya mukti padesaraya. That my dear Lord, one who earnestly wait for you to bestow your peace, causeless mercy upon him, and all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his own past misdeeds. Such a person is willing to go through liberation, he has become right. So we should see it, I'm just such a sinful wretch. So Krishna is giving me just a fraction of the suffering I should have had, just to wake me up. That's how we should see it. Krishna has other purposes, most likely not now with my case. But that's at least how we should see it. It's just, we deserve worse. So we are getting used to that. So you move to the disciples, sinful reactions. Six gurus, we can have many. He gives instructions, and that's it. Diksha. Okay, maybe everybody knows what is a Sikh guru? He gives instructions. So it can be any person who gives us instructions. And who is most important? Diksha or Siksha? Diksha guru is actually most important. In one sense, Diksha is very important because, as we will hear soon, that we cannot really go back to Godhead without. But without really getting instructions, right? Again, otherwise we'll follow our minds. So we need to have a person close to us that can guide us and tell us what to do and what not to do. And that, and just having a Siksha guru, we are connected. That's in Guru. We are connected to Krishna. But if we follow our own whims, even if we do the right thing, there's no real mercy. We hear even Caitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was leaving for South India, practically whenever he was going to Vrindavan, he was going to South India, what would he do first? Ask his devotees. Right? He would ask, please give me your blessings. And if they said no, he would do. So that's the Supreme Lord, showing the example that if you want to do anything, ask blessings first. If you have blessings, everything will be perfect. Oops. Oh, yeah. So this is what Diksha means. It's not everybody knows Siksha Guru. You know Siksha Guru exactly?
No.
So there's two kinds of gurus. That's the ones who initiate you, give you your name and give you chanting 16 miles and something like that, and this takes away your karma. But then there's a person close to you, you can ask questions and can help you advance in spiritual life and personal consciousness. That's a Siksha Guru, one you can ask questions. So it's mentioned you can have many Siksha Gurus. There's many you can say, okay, I'll take advice from him and him and him and him. But you can only have one Diksha Guru. The initiating Guru is only one. But we can have many Siksha Gurus that can teach us and help us on our spiritual life.
It was just this example with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. His father was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he had like the best instruction, Siksha, that you could imagine. But still he was like so sad when he put an initiation from Vodakishwaradas, Parvati. So my question is that if he had died before he had gotten that initiation, or not,
it is said in High Bhakti Vilas that you cannot, without having spiritual master, you cannot go back to Bhakti. But again, there might be exceptions. But normally it's said you should be in Guru Prabhupada. But if you have if you're following and if you're living like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati did already then. But anyway, the example is there most likely to teach us. He said he would commit suicide. Also Narada Das Thakur. And he would not get into it. Who was it? Who was it? Narada Das Thakur? Who was his speech? Lokanath Swami. So Lokanath Swami said, no, I won't initiate. So Narada Das Thakur, he was a prince. So he went where he went every morning in the forest to do his morning toilet. So he went there and cleaned everything without him knowing. So Lokanath Swami, next day he came and said, oh, it's completely clean here. Who came and cleaned that? And then this happened for several weeks. And one day Lokanath Swami decided, I'll stay here and I'll watch. So then he saw Narottam Das Thakur, this prince on his knees, cleaning up the toilet, just the hole in the ground, of his to-come spiritual master. And by that seva, he said, okay, I'll initiate. I know, there's more to it. But actually that was, when he saw that attitude, he said, okay, I'll initiate. So, yeah, if that is there, that service attitude, and that shows the importance of having a spiritual master, having a Diksha Guru. So we should be very eager, that's the point, we should be very eager to have a spiritual master, because that's our ticket out of this place. Without it, we are in trouble. So Diksha, the word means, Di, the syllables Di together, is standing for Divya Gyan, meaning transcendental knowledge. Divya Gyan. And Ksha. Iksha is to see, and Ksha piety is explaining. So just this diction, he has Divya Gyan, he has Divya Gyan, Rita Prokasita, as we just mentioned. Divya Gyan, Rita Prokasita, the spiritual master reveals this Divya Gyan, this transcendental knowledge from the heart. Why? Because he has seen it. Iksha, to see, Kshapayati, to explore. So you can see it and then you can explain. That's what diksha means when you break it down. And that shows something about the beauty of Sanskrit. You have a word like this, and you can just break it down and you have this whole explanation of what it means. Beautiful. That's why we could study, if we really got into the Sanskrit, we probably didn't want us to. But if we really got into the study, to studying the Sanskrit, we could sit with one verse of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam for a week, and just go through that verse. And we'll get so many meanings out of it. That's the beauty of our Sanskrit. Diksha. Harinam Diksha and Mantra Diksha. What does that mean?
First and second.
Yeah. Good. So Harinam Diksha is the first one, and then Mantra Diksha, we get the Gayatri Mantra, second initiation. What is required to get second initiation?
But why is it given? Sorry.
Why is second initiation given? It's said it's the second birth. So one has several births, not births, but birth in life. So one has the first one, the animal birth, from the mother and father, that's called like an animal birth. And then we have, when we get initiated, we have the second birth. And that's really speaking mostly to second initiation.
Mantra Diksha, why?
Gayatri Mantra.
Yeah, why does one get?
The Gayatri Mantra?
Yeah.
Wow. Krishna says of poetry on Gayatri, it's a turbo for the chanting of Hare Krishna. In one sense, we don't need Gayatri to go back to Gayatri. In that sense, it's not needed, but it enhances, it improves. It's like, it gives like a turbo, if everybody knows the car terminology. So when you put a turbo on your car, it enhances the motor you already have. So the motor you already have becomes more powerful. So the power of the chanting Hare Krishna becomes even more powerful by the Gayatri Mantra. And there's so many things to it.
Does it also then mean, once you have got the Gayatri Mantra, if you then don't, if you fall down, you fall heavier down?
That can be. The higher you fall, the higher you fly, the harder you fall. So also it says that knowledge is dangerous, because when you have knowledge and disobey or don't follow that knowledge, then you get harder reactions. So yes, knowledge is difficult or dangerous in that sense, but it's the only thing that can save us. But it's dangerous in the sense when we know we get heavier reactions. So what does it take to be a Brahmana? What does it mean to be a Brahmana? How to get Brahmana initiation?
It means one who is qualified to study the Vedas, and also the Brahman initiation, it's for giving initiation into worshipping the deity on the altar.
Good. Yeah, good. So when you're a Brahman initiation, you can like Modi, you will be on the altar. So that gives this, and it says like at first you get, you become a Vidya. Vidya means twice born. Vidya means two. So Vidya means twice born. But and that gives you the right to perform deity worship, do all these things. But you're not really as such a Brahmana. Brahmana really is a Vipra. So that means when you've done it, when you went through the whole process, you've been worshipping a deity, you've been doing through, you've actually been practicing being a Brahmana, then you're a Brahmana. So first you get the initiation, you get the right to study. And that's really, you mentioned the Vedas, studying the Vedas. To really study the Vedas, in that sense, in the Vedic times, you should be a Brahmana. Otherwise you are not allowed to study the Vedas. And then there's all the qualities mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. One should be equipoised, one should be religious. How is it? Samo damas tapas saucham. Samo, one should be equipoised. Samo damas, one should be peaceful. Damas tapas, one should perform austerities. Saucham, one should be clean. One should be religious. One should have realized knowledge and knowledge. And peaceful. Not peaceful. So these are the qualities of a Brahman. So it's not everyone who gets Brahman initiation. It's qualification. So that means really one should have these qualities to some extent. And then one should be inspired by Brahminical activities. So then one can get
Is it not so that it's only Prabhus who can be Brahmin?
No, definitely. She's okay. So no, that is...
To wear this
No, that's only men. It's only men who get the flat.
Okay.
But women also get the mantra and it's also initiated. They will also chant the Gayatri mantra. But it's only men who get the flat. That's it.
Without the string.
Women will not get a string.
Okay.
Diksha. Pashu yonim avapnoti diksha vahitu jana. Unless one is initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, all his devotional activities are useless. A person who is not properly initiated can descend again and again into the animal species. This is from Hari Bhakti Vilas 2.6 and Prabhupada quoted in Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila 15.108. Phew, that's heavy. So what it means is at least one should be in a process. So it's not one is following the process, one is chanting Hare Krishna, one is aspiring to get initiated by a spiritual master, that's no progress. But if one is just taking the process without really aiming at that, then the process is very scarce. The progress is very scarce. Very scarce. So one should really approach, one should make a plan. When will I be ready to be initiated? How will I make myself ready to be initiated? If one is trying to avoid that, subconscious trying to avoid that, not planning to be initiated, then the advancement will not be as much, lot less. And it will be very, very difficult to go back and body, if at all possible. So we should aim at that. We should definitely aim at getting initiated. Because initiation, what it merely means is we say to Krishna, okay, now I'm serious. That's why we take the vows, that's why it reminds us, it makes it clear for us that now I signed the contract here with Krishna. That now I want to be a devotee. So when we take that step, we automatically become serious. That's why the vows are there, that's why the whole ceremony is there for initiation. Explain the vows, you hear the 10 offenses to be avoided, that's always there in the initiation lecture. We had it here, Sankar, we were going through all the 10 offenses. Remember? We were going through all the 10 offenses to be avoided, so that we actually can chant Hare Krishna. And the 4 principles are actually there, because otherwise it's very difficult to make progress. If you're not capable, if you're not really trying our very best to follow the 4 principles and actually following them, it's very difficult to really get out of the multiplicity of nature. So that's what's keeping us back, that's what's holding us back. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says it's the 4 regulative principles of freedom. How's this verse? Vita, Raga, Bhaya, Krodha, Manmaya, Mam, Pashita. How? What is this? Anyway, Krishna says the 4 regulative principles of freedom. So by following these principles, one will actually become free. The society, we think that I'm free, we can do whatever we want. Yeah, but the bondage is within. We are bound in the mind. We are captured. Our consciousness is imprisoned. We were speaking this Sunday, if you remember. How our consciousness is imprisoned. You remember just very shortly how the examples of being free and analogies? Anyone remember? Anything? Embryo?
Yeah.
Covered by the womb?
And then fire by the middle one was
Dust?
yeah, mirror with the dust, and third was fire with smoke.
Yeah. So we are covered by these different levels of coverings of material energy. Like the trees are covering very much, like the emperor, by the womb is covered, you can even see the emperor. And the animals as such, they are like the covered mirror by dust. So you can still see something, some consciousness is there. Then a human being is smoke covered by, fire covered by smoke. So there's even as little fire, you can still use it. There might be a lot of smoke, but you can still use it. And if you handle fire right, what happens? Blazing. Turns into a blaze. It really turns into a fire. So if we use this human form of life rightly, our consciousness will be replaced and become human. So that's really the purpose of human life, and that's what the four principles are there for. And that's why it's so important to be initiated.
Maybe somebody, without getting into contact with any spiritual master or any institution, somebody is following these four principles. Where does he or she go from there?
Prabhupada, I don't know exactly where he goes, but Prabhupada says this is where human life starts. He says four regulatory principles is nothing to do with spiritual life. It's nothing like, it's not worshipping Krishna as such, it's just following like normal codes of human life. In a Vedic term. Like we have a different term here in the Western world. So we're trying to get there. Right? We're trying to really become Vaishnavas. It's a higher thing. So one who's following the four regulatory principles, he might go up towards the higher planets, heavenly planets. But that's temporary and you come back.
It's also said if you follow the management and you are professional to do for 100 lifetimes, you can take birth in Brahmaloka. And then by serving Brahma as a devotee, then one develops sensual sentitude and go back together with Brahma. And
but then one has to become a devotee in Brahmaloka.
Yes.
Because
so
Brahma is a pure devotee who follows him,
without
he can go there and then follow Brahma. The problem is Brahma lives for 311 trillion years. So here we are struggling with 100 years. There we have a bit more time.
One point is why the necessity of a spiritual master. I have understood that if you want to go back to Krishna, then you have to start serving all the gopis.
Yeah.
And they bring you to Krishna.
Okay,
so that is that is the Guru principle. So if you are not trained up to serve a Guru with your full heart, totally selfless, then what you're going to do there in the spiritual?
Beautiful comment you make there, that is really what we are doing in ISKCON is practicing the culture of the spiritual world. Simply all we are doing is practicing the culture of the spiritual world. So gradually we learn that culture. We learn what it means to be civilized. We learn what it means to be a devotee. We learn what it means to behave out of love instead out of lust. And the whole thing starts with discipline, that disciple. Prabhupada says that disciple means discipline. So the whole thing starts like, again, you are Tatvidi Pranipatana, you're ready to inquire submissively, okay, what is my duty? What should I do? And then render service. When we start acting like that, because in the spiritual world, everyone is fighting, they're not fighting there, but they're fighting to get service. Like they're endeavoring, please can I be allowed to make this flower garland? You mentioned a few days ago that even the queens in the palaces of Krishna, they are always cleaning. Then you see them go cleaning the marble walls, and Prabhupada says there's no dust there. It's the spiritual world. They don't need to. There's nothing. It's not dirty, but they do it just to please Krishna. Yes.
How does one go? Does a person get sannyasi, another initiation, and who choose who can be a spiritual master?
Oh, sannyas is the next initiation. Yeah, you become initiated into sannyas, and vanaprastha for that reason. But that's not, as I understand, the same official way of initiation. So sannyas and spiritual master is not the same.
No, I know that.
You know that. Yeah. So in order to be sannyas, you need to be very elevated in the spiritual life. And to get to the sannyas list, you need to live exemplary for many years and have many people, exalted devotees who can recommend you. And then you can get on a list, and when you're on that list,